So you might have seen the previous video that we did on the Flatbox stroke hitbox, and after I made that video I got a really good idea. How about we take that hitbox stroke flatbox and have it dockable in a mini arcade? So of course I set about making the mini arcade itself, and I must admit it is quite a simple design, but it's got some cool features, and we're going to go over everything in the video. Now of course this video is sponsored by JLC, and they were a massive help in bringing this project to life, but more on them a little bit later when we go over everything you're going to need. Now if you haven't seen the Flatbox stroke hitbox video yet, go click up there somewhere, go and check it out, and then you'll know what you're working with, because we're not going to go over anything on how to build the actual hitbox itself in this video. What we're going to be concentrating on is building that really cool mini arcade. So I guess the best place to start, as always, is let's go over how I designed it, and then we'll look at all the parts that we're going to need. So I didn't want to make it too complicated, and I wanted it to really look like an arcade machine. Now we have got the kiosk at the front which lights up with RGB, and of course RGB is a must. But as we take these two back panels off, we can see inside and pretty much see where everything's going to go. So the speakers are going to go in the front, which are forward facing. The Raspberry Pi can go here on these standoffs. We have the mounting for the USB port for the Flatbox, and then for that 7-inch screen we've got the 4 mounting holes at the top. Now I was quite aware of how big this was, and I wanted to make it easy to print. So this front part does come off, and then the top and bottom also split. But I think if you were going to get someone like JLC 3DP to print this, then having it complete all in one would be the best way to go. So that's the 3D printed parts. Let's go over everything else you need. So I decided to use the Electro RC070 7-inch screen, because I always find Electro screens reliable, really good value for money as well, and it will just be perfect for the kind of build that we're doing here. Of course, as always, I'll put links in the description, including the Raspberry Pi 5 4GB, also from Electro. I thought may as well get that from the same company. Now you can use a Raspberry Pi 4 as well, I've tested with both, and if you're doing retro stuff like 16-bit or arcade, this is going to work absolutely perfectly. And of course you will need a micro SD card as well. So next we need something to power those LEDs with WLED, of course. We're going to be using the ESP32 S3 mini development board by Waveshare. These are super cheap, super small, and perfect for what we need. Now, due to space constraints and the position of the HDMI on the screen itself, we're going to need some of these 360-degree angled HDMI male to female connectors. We only need one, but they come in a pack of 2, and again, they're pretty cheap. Now the next thing is optional, and I have got them fitted but they're not functioning yet, and that's just some basic on and off switches. I've got 2 on there because I want one for the Raspberry Pi itself and one for the RGB, so I can basically have the RGB running with the Pi and screen off. So next we're going to need some speakers, and we're going to be using these tiny little 3-watt 4-ohm mini speakers. They're actually perfect for the job, and it's plenty loud enough. Now the main reason I went for those speakers is because I got this little 5-volt amplifier which can run on USB, and of course it's a 3-watt and 3-watt, so basically stereo speakers, both 3 watts. It's going to work absolutely perfect for this application. Obviously you can use different speakers and different amps. You're just going to have to look into the sort of power configuration that you want to go for. So of course PCBs are a big part of my projects, so I need a reliable service that has really high quality PCBs, and that's where jlcpcb come in. Now, if you didn't know, jlcpcb are a professional manufacturer of PCBs, just like the power distribution board shown here that we used in this video. Now, jlcpcb offer a fast, reliable service at their state-of-the-art facility, and they're also really competitive on pricing. It's super easy to order on their website, but rather than just talking about it, let's take a quick look. So you're going to drag and drop your Gerber files across, and what it's going to do is going to load the files and show you a little picture. Now you can change the color of the board, you can change the quantity, the size is already fixed on the design, and you can get 5 of these boards for as little as $2. So if you want more information and to see how much money you can save, click the link in the description below and bring your ideas to life. So thanks again to JLC for sponsoring this video and all the videos in the past. Your help is greatly appreciated. Now we're going to do things a little bit different. We're not going to go through the build process or speed the footage up through the build process, because I don't feel like people get much value from that. Instead, I've actually got a brand new Discord server all about 3D printing and CAD software and the projects that we work on this channel. Now there's going to be a link in the description below, and anyone is free to join. Now what we're going to do instead is we're going to look at the final product, we'll take a tour around it, play some games on it, and of course pop the back off and see how everything is connected in there. As always, the links are in the description and make a world link, so you can actually print one yourself or get JLC to print one for you. So of course if you do need any help, I'll be happy to help you over on the Discord, or drop a comment below, and while you're down there hit that like button. Anyway, enough waffling on, let's have a look at this arcade in more detail. So first of all, let's take the back shell off and have a look how things are wired up. Now you will see there's a wire going in there at the moment that goes to the Raspberry Pi, and then that USB-C port is what powers that distribution board. So we're going to disconnect that first, and then we're going to unplug that USB-C connection. And the reason we don't use the power distribution board to power the Raspberry Pi is because it needs a lot more current, and you'll get one of those little lightning bolts in the top right hand corner of the screen, and that's the Pi telling you it's just not got enough power. Now as you can see, when we take the top panel off, we can see the back of the screen itself, and that ESP32 in the top, I know it's got tape on it, and that's my bad. I don't recommend doing that. Use something else to fix it in place. But we can see the Electro 7-inch LCD display here. We can see the power cables. We can also see that HDMI. We do have the Raspberry Pi 4 in there at the moment, and obviously the ribbon cable going to the hitbox. And then also we have that power distribution board. Now obviously this does need tidying up because everything's kind of just hanging out in there, but I haven't really changed it too much since the very first build and the testing, etc. Here we have the volume knob, and it's one of those ones that clicks and then you can turn the volume up and down. And we've got those 2 power buttons as well. Well, they're not really power buttons, they're power switches, but they're not actually wired up at the moment. That's something for another day. Now of course, one of the great things is that you can take the hitbox off, and because it's got that USB port, you can use it on the PC, and then as soon as you're finished and you want to put it back on, it just slides back into place. So here we have the final results. Now I hope you can appreciate how much time and effort went into this as well, because it looks amazing. First game I played was Streets of Rage, because this is one of my favourite games from the 16-bit era on the Mega Drive. And then we also played a Simpsons game. Never played this back in the day, and it was a little bit difficult to get to grips with, but one game I do have a lot of experience with, and that's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now playing these games on this little arcade was just so much fun, and I put a power bank in there as well so you could use it portably. Now, to control the RGB, because we use that ESP32 and WLED, it connects to the Wi-Fi, and then you can control it all with your phone or tablet. I find it really easy to use, and that's why I've probably used it in so many projects, maybe too many projects, but it just looks amazing. So as you can imagine, this has been really fun and a little bit of labour of love, because it has taken quite a while to get it to this stage, and there is of course other improvements that I want to make. But of course, as always, I'll be updating the maker world, and the links in the description. And of course, if you have any ideas for projects or anything like that, you can join the Discord server, where I'll be happy to hear what you've got to say. So that about wraps up another video. But don't forget, you can always join the Discord if you need help, or you just want to hang out and chat. It'd be really nice to see a few of you there. Also, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and then hit that little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. I'm JP, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.